with the invocation and a pledge of allegiance. If you desire, pray with me, please. Almighty God, we come before you this morning humbly asking for your direction and your guidance in all that we do. May it be in the best interest of the people of Person County. Amen.
Amen.
Commissioner, per year, would you lead us in our pledge?
Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is discussion, adjustment, and approval of the agenda as printed with one addition. We want to add an item, JCPC funding fiscal year 22, and we can make that make it either number 7, or we could move the budget ordinance to number 7 and make this number 6, which is a formality.
Move to make it number 7.
Thank you, sir. Okay, do we further discussion or adjustments? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. In our commission meetings, we do have 10 minutes typically set aside for public comment. And Madam Clerk, how many do we have?
We have one signing up at this time, and it is 13 people.
I don't know, what's the feeling here, the board? Would we, I do feel like that if any of us have got a good point to make, we can do it in a minute or so, but it's a bit unusual. So would you want to allow a couple of minutes each?
I make a motion we allow a couple of minutes each for the public comments.
And again, those of you that make your point, if it's 30 seconds or a minute, please be cognizant of the others in the room that want to have that say as well. So just please do that if you don't mind. So if is there IT person?
Commissioner Sims, could I add to yours a couple minutes? If somebody's in mid-sentence, that they would have 20, 30 seconds to finish their comment if they're not finished, as a courtesy to give them that time. Would that be all right? A maximum of like 20 to 30 seconds to finish if they've gone over 2 minutes.
Yeah, is he able to put that on us? The timer on there or not?
I can't communicate with him at this point, so I'm hoping he's hearing us.
I can ask Chris.
Well, we have timers, don't we have timers on phone? Yeah, we've got.
It's up.
Okay, great.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, for clarification, the board's adopted rules provide for a public comment period of a total of 10 minutes. So under this motion, what the board proposes to do, if adopted, is to provide each speaker who has signed up 2 minutes, and that's, if you do the math, that's a total of 26 minutes instead of 10.
That's right.
That's an
Yes.
extension.
All right, our first speaker is our Representative Larry Yarborough.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Looks like you guys have a busy agenda today. Over the weekend, I was contacted by Mayor Newell and spoke to your chairman about this new energy bill that we are looking at in the legislature. It is a very important bill because the fact of the matter is that coal is going away, and Person County finds themselves in the middle of that with the largest coal-fired plant in the Duke system. It's also very important to my office. But this bill is a little bit preliminary in that I got my first copy of it Wednesday night. It wasn't actually released to the public until Thursday. And so I cannot believe that your staff has really had a chance to analyze it and report back to you, because my staff really hasn't. And I intend to be working on this bill to see that Person County's interests are represented, that we do everything we can to keep the Duke Energy production that we have here in Person County, and that our county budget is not terribly impacted by these changes. Like I said, this bill is going to happen. We need to have an orderly transition from coal to the future. But I just want to let you know that my office is on it. We're going to work hard on it. It's one of my priorities. And I appreciate your support in the future, but not necessarily today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Liz Bratcher, please.
I want to thank the employees of PCC and the students for being here. I think you know that a post-secondary education is really important, and I believe that everybody supports that in this room today. I also want to support Larry Yarborough and what he just said. I think to pass a resolution today is premature. The bill mentions the retirement of our plants, HYCO, on or before 2024. It mentions the retirement for Mayo no later than 2027. The HB 9951, which is the bill, does not refer to the creation of jobs. It does not show the capacity or needs or lack thereof for energy in the future. It talks about solar farms. It talks about battery storage. It talks about small nuclear reactors. Solar farms and battery storage does not provide jobs. Are you ready to vote for small nuclear reactors here without any knowledge of them? I think that would be unwise. There's generalizations about the bill in terms of the energy reliability. According to Governor Cooper, the bill would provide a 30% shortfall of energy. The bill mentions green energy. I'm for green energy. I think a lot of us are. But the Charlotte Observer reported that our consumer bills would increase by 50% over a 10-year period. I don't think that's smart. The bill does not mention natural gas. We have a Mount Valley gas line that's coming from West Virginia. It's 90% completed. We need 10% to complete that and to connect to HYCO. We have 2 coal-producing plants here since 1966. They've been an asset to this county. You need more time to look at this resolution. You have to think out of the box and not into the box. You have to think about Person County and not Duke Energy. You have to be our advocates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jimmy Clayton.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Jimmy Clayton, retired commissioner, thank goodness. I really came to talk to you all today about money, and I know you want to hear about that, but the $61.5 billion in COVID relief funds being passed by the United States Congress, and these funds are eligible for things like, and I'm going to take this right out of the Association of Commissioners thing, physical recovery funds. They address infrastructure, including necessary investments in drinking water, wastewater, stormwater, high-quality broadband. Now, you've got a mega site here. The city, the county, and PCC need to work together to get some of these funds to run your infrastructure to that site. You can get funds. You should be able to get funds for water and sewer and for that type stuff. And I don't know how many strings will be attached, but I'm sure there'll be some attached to it. Thought about another issue that y'all have had to deal with by the time I got off of the board was this well issue that you had out there off of Highway 49. I'm not sure that you couldn't get some of these funds to address some of that type thing. And remember that in the 70s, Somerset was put in a special tax district. And they paid a special county tax until they paid off getting their sewer system renovated out there. It was extended. City sewer was extended, and they were put in an addition. So it's not a new thing that this board hadn't ever done. It's just been so far back that it takes Grandpa to remember it. And but that's a possibility if you looked at that. But if you could get some of this COVID funds for some of these special projects, and your broadband project, they want 100 megabytes per second to support underserved housing and households. You've already got the loop made. When you start running the spokes off of this loop, you should be able to get some of these funds for this. And the last thing I'm going to speak to is PCC's request. I want you to remember you've got an old Helena school down there that's vacant. You need to renovate that school and allow them to put their facilities down there where they need it to educate these people for these future jobs that you should be able to bring in here. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Weaver?
Good morning. I'm here to speak as a private citizen, not as the chairman of the Person County GOP. I am pro Advanced Technology Center. I'm with you guys on the Advanced Technology Center. However, I'm not into dipping into the taxpayer's purse if there's another way to do it. David Newell forged a path, and he and I did not see eye to eye back then because I didn't know what he was doing and how he was trying to do it. I think that needs to be investigated, because if we can do it where it doesn't cost the taxpayers, that's the way to go. There was a feasibility study that we paid for, you guys authorized, and it was done, and then it was sequestered, hidden for 18 months. It just came out. We got a little look at it. We got to look at the executive summary of this feasibility study. Shows it being put down here on across from Palace Point. Now, Dr. Senegal's come here and asked for money, and I'm like, okay, why was this hidden from us? Why was this study that we paid for hidden for 18 months? Is there a personal agenda here? Is there a conflict of interest anywhere here? The second thing I wanted to speak about was this resolution to support Bill 951. I want to know who wrote that. Did you write that, Gordon? Did you write this, or just did Duke send this in?
Not a dialogue, but no, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to know who wrote this, because this looks like somebody else's personal agenda, which is also a conflict of interest. Last thing, I believe PCC is required by law to share its banking services every 3 years. I believe there's only one bank that's submitted for that business, that being BB&T Truist. We got to be careful about conflict of interest, even the appearance of conflict of interest. Thank you. Y'all have a good day. Lady may have my seat. Thank you.
All right, next we have Mr. Earl Gertner.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
My name is Earl Gertner. 4 years ago, I presented a proposal to the board to do something in Person County that's needed and needed now. I'm here to present that to you today to hopefully that we get some interest and follow through. We don't have a golf course. Our high schools need a golf course. It's very possible for us to have a 10-hole golf course on this property. We all get together and do our job. If you want to see what it would look like if you did it, go down to Country Club Steakhouse. Look how they're taking care of their lawn. Look over to hole number 9, the present owner, who's a plumber. Needs to get active on that, Charlie. It's a mess. Our whole land out there is a mess. We got to improve our property, and we can put a golf course in there. That would return $200,000 a year in revenue to this county at a cost of $100,000. If you need help, I'll help you any way I can. I'm old, but I have a good brain. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Antonio Foster.
Good morning.
Morning.
I want to thank the Board of Commissioners and the citizens for their continued support of Piedmont Community College and for giving me this very important minute to speak here this morning. I am very happy to see PCC's administrators, faculty, students, and fellow trustees. Go Pacers. I am Lieutenant Colonel, retired Antonio Foster, and acting chairman for the Board of Trustees for Piedmont Community College. Our chairman, Tanya Evans, is out of town. I served in the military for over 28 years with 9 years and university affiliations. The article published last week in the Courier Times achieved one singular mission: to deflect from Piedmont Community College's goal of improving the quality of our community through providing high-quality post-secondary education. The article does not reflect our college's core values or its missions, but rather engages in mudslinging and yellow journalism, AKA fake news, which diminishes what we truly stand for as a college. Dr. Senegal was hired by the Board of Trustees, 15 of us. As a trustee of this board, I can and I will only attest to the facts that it cannot be refuted. I have proudly served on this board since 2017. And during this time, Dr. Pamela Senegal has increased student enrollment, minus COVID numbers, by about 12%. A few seconds. She engages professionally and positively with the student body, the community, and she has also established trust and credibility with the Board of Trustees collectively. I speak for this board this morning and state that we firmly stand behind Dr. Senegal and her work at this institution of higher learning. Again, thank you for letting me speak this morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. I also want to speak very briefly about the energy bill. That bill is still in committee in the legislature, and thank you all for not having it on the agenda yet, because no one's had time to do any analysis of it whatsoever. I have read it in its current form, and I just want to say, without repeating everything that Mrs. Bradshaw's already talked about, a couple of items of concern here to be that when the bill does come up and we can look at it, things you need to look at. What's proposed in that current legislation for at least one of the plants here will bring almost no jobs to Person County. There are major problems with battery storage. There are major problems with solar. It's just simply not appropriate for that site at all. And therefore, we don't know what's going to happen there, so we can't make any rational decisions yet. But one thing interesting in that bill that was written by, for, and of Duke Energy, what's built into it is the authority to take away from the Public Utilities Commission various authorities to regulate power rates, kilowatt rates. And one of the things that's built in is an automatic increase in our electric bills for the sole purpose of giving Duke Energy money before any decisions are made so they can study and start to lay the groundwork for what is eventually going to be here. Now, the money's got to come from somewhere, okay? Let's face it. And ratepayers are always on the hook for it. But your bills are going to go up dramatically, and that's just the beginning. This so-called green energy, if you can look to have your power bills quadruple. And as evidence of that, I ask you to look at what the folks in Southern California are paying with all their green energy. Their cost per kilowatt hour are more than 3 times what we're paying here. And they haven't yet begun to pay. Look at how reliable their electric grid is and how much more generating capacity they're going to have to put in just to have the ability for their jacuzzi to come on when they flip the switches. So thank you for not putting it on. Please be cautious. Please be alert. And when that bill does come out, analyze it very, very carefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Anthony Winston. Fire Marshal, would you announce in the hall Mr. Anthony Winston?
Mr. Anthony Winston.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Winston. I'm another product of PCC's curriculum. I graduated the mechatronics program in the summer of 19, and I was fortunate enough to find a job here locally at Pollywood where I'm a maintenance technician. Since I've been in the field and went back to school, I'm now enrolled in the welding program. I've noticed that a lot of the equipment in the classrooms is dated. In my opinion, they're not as safe and not as efficient. When I go back to work, I feel a lot more comfortable using that equipment. And I know me personally, since I get my hands with every day on it, I have a little bit of knowledge on how to use the things. And I know a lot of the guys are green, so sometimes they may get a little, I guess, scared to use the equipment, or they may be a little shy to do the things. So I feel as if the programs and the opportunities that PCC has available are wonderful. I feel as if we put it a little bit in, the results we get out could be limitless. Thank you.
Chris Spivey. Chris Spivey.
Good morning. My name is Chris Spivey. I'm currently working at PCC part-time doing the continuing education program for welding. So speaking on behalf of PCC and the expansion that's needed, I wanted to say that I've been working at my current company full-time for 21 years in Durham. Every time or every so often when technology changes, we expand. We change our technology at work for the better. And I attended PCC as a student in 1998, 1999, and in 2001. And that facility looks exactly the same now as it did 20-some years ago. PCC needs to expand and advance technology for people like Anthony and all the children in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Pamela Sindall.
I want to thank the members of my Board of Trustees and other members of the community and the Pacer family who have joined us here today. Thank you all for being here. Here's what I need to say to commissioners and to this community. We're at a pivot point. We're at a point where we get to decide who we're going to be as a community. Nothing gets in the way of economic development like headlines that we've just seen. Nothing gets in the way more. It's time for us to stop talking about people and start talking about ways to move forward as a community to make this place better so that we can start planting trees for our grandchildren to enjoy the shade. It's time for us to begin that work. It's disturbing, the names that I've been called in this process of me bringing forward and fulfilling my fiduciary responsibilities as president of the college to bring forward what our needs are. The equipment that we have will simply not prepare people for Industry 5.0. If we disagree on the merits of an advanced technology center,
Someone's got a recording or something going.
It's the live stream.
I think there's an echo or a bounce back.
Going on. I'm
yeah.
having a hard time with it.
Okay, so I'll talk is that clear? Yeah. Is that a little better? Okay, so I'll sit a little closer to the microphone. It's essentially time for us as a community to stop spending so much time disparaging my professional career, and let's talk instead about how we move forward as a community. I recognize and accept that you all have decided to not include the Advanced Technology Center on the capital budget for the coming years, so we will pivot as a community and we'll figure out other ways to make this happen. But it does need to happen, and it's a conversation that we should be having together. The last thing that I want to leave with is a quote that's been around for many years. I'm not sure to whom to attribute it to, but I thought it was appropriate for this setting. Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, but small minds discuss people.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. My name is Anderson Clayton, and I am the new chair of the Person County Democratic Party. It is the position of the Person County Democratic Party that Mr. Charlie Palmer should resign as a Person County Commissioner, effective immediately. On Thursday of last week, the Roxborough Courier-Times published an article with emails released through the Freedom of Information Act, sent from Mr. Palmer, the commissioner, to Commissioner Gentry, along with several others. These emails were a direct attack, and quite frankly, a dehumanization of Dr. Pamela Senegal. Person County deserves real public servants, ones without radical agendas, centered in baseless accusations and character assassinations of one of this community's most revered leaders. Mr. Palmer's language is divisive, unprofessional, and honestly, racially charged with centuries of prejudices that have plagued our community for far too long, quite frankly. Now, unfortunately, while Mr. Palmer's decision to resign is up to him and on his shoulders, I do ask that this board think about the aspect of saying that he should recuse himself from any vote that has to do with PCC, the Advanced Technology Center, or Dr. Pamela Senegal in the future, because he has shown that is a conflict of interest, that he cannot, in good faith, make a decision on this person and her professional association in this community. I know how much Mr. Palmer loves scripture, and I do as well, and so I want to make sure that he hears this from me. Titus chapter 3, 1 through 15. Remind them to be submissive to rules and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy towards all people. For we ourselves were once foolish, disobedient, led astray, slaves to various passions and pleasures, passing our days in malice and envy, hated by others and hating one another. But when the good and lovingness of the kindness of our God, our Savior, appeared, he saved us. That to me is really important in this. The Person County Democratic Party is excited to bring balance to this board again one day. But until then, I hope you will consider what I've said here. The Person County citizens trust that you will do your due diligence with this. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Eli Lester Sr. If you'll ask, Mr. Eli Lester, maybe in the hall.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Greetings to our commissioners. Innuendo, hearsay, and speculation has no place in our government process, especially when attributed to the members of our governing body. I refer to the details outlined exhaustibility acquisition detail Thursday, June the 17th, 2021, copy of our newspaper, the Courier-Times. I am personally appalled and embarrassed at the level of these unfounded, undeserved allegations being heard as such a distinguished member of this community who was duly appointed by the governing body, has oversight responsible for this position. A member that was appointed by a governing body, not this one, that has oversight responsible for this position. Personal agenda, reference to plots, conspiracies belong in the movies and not in the sacred body of the institution with individuals who take an oath to represent all the citizens of Person County. You wanted to hear from public. Well, here I am. I'm representing a significant segment of this community who stand ready to tackle every aspect what appears to be more about revenge than it is good. Community colleges serve as a base for our growth and development and forward thinking that removes us from the shackles of burden. The School of Plan Advanced Technology Center is needed in appropriate budgeting and funded for more move forward. I believe in transparency and due process, and I will observe to ensure that this happens. Thank you.
Langston Rogan, is that correct?
Yes.
Good morning. Morning. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and fellow citizens. I just have a few questions for you. Number one, I'd like to know, I represent Lawson Chapel Baptist Church as pastor. I'd like to know what sanctions are appropriate for commissioners for their behavior against individuals in this county or employees that work for the county or the state. Secondly, in what way should you as commissioners be accountable to the citizens of this county? Number three, when does it cross the line for public elected officials, county commissioners individually, use language to become hate speech? Example, she's wicked, she's a viper, she's a demonic creature. And I remind you that Dr. Senegal has been properly vetted by the state. Now, why so much stock is put into a disgruntled employee who was not renewed for an appropriate reason? And the personnel matter was discussed publicly. Shouldn't some action or some type of action be taken when a personnel matter is discussed publicly? And sometimes especially by a county commissioner or an appointed individual. I would like to ask that there should be a public apology submitted to Dr. Senegal. And I would remind you that you, when it comes to funding PCC, you may control the purse strings, but we will meet you at the ballot box.
And our last speaker for public comments is Ms. Cindy Lynch.
Good morning. I'm also speaking about PCC. Are there some questions? Yes. But since when are questions bad? It is the basics for some educational systems, particularly the Greek and the Hebrew. To question is not necessarily to criticize and certainly not to condemn. I've been watching social media and I have seen not one complaint about PCC itself, but only about some concerns about the proposed technology center and some concerns about the leadership, but only praise for the college itself. We all saw an extremely long article in the Courier-Times that contained long excerpts from what were private emails. I suspect we have all put words in private emails that we would not want made public. I was a school business administrator for a number of years and often found my name in the newspaper, including putting my salary in there. It was not the most comfortable position. But I am confident that my former local paper would not have used personal emails to inflame a community. PCC, your community supports you.
Item number one on our agenda today is discussion, adjustment, approval of the consent agenda as presented. Have a motion or comments?
Move for approval.
Have a motion to approve discussion adjusted consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number two on the agenda is resolution permitting the Person County Fire Protection Service District to provide rescue services. Mr. Duncan.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Could I take 5 seconds to recognize my Deputy Fire Marshal for completing her Level 2 fire inspector. It was a long time coming, a lot of work put forward to that, and I just want to congratulate her. Thank you, Lisa. And as part of my the way I run my office, she shadows what I do so that she can do my job as well as I can. Today, just come before you to ask for approval of a resolution to include rescue services into the Fire Protection District. In 2018, you approved the Fire Protection District, and upon general statutes, you're allowed to add other services as deemed necessary and fall under that same Fire Protection District. This will allow everything emergency-wise except for EMS, which is a county department, to fall under that umbrella. They will be paid out of the same taxable district as you do everyone else. And so it just puts them on a level playing field with the rest of the fire departments and emergency operations. Thank you.
Any questions of Mr. Duncan from the board members?
None.
Anyone? Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to proceed with providing the extra services.
Any further questions, board members?
Chairman, I think you can construe that as a motion to approve this resolution, which does accomplish that purpose.
Right. Thank you for clarifying. I did think that, but thank you for clarifying. Any further comments? All in favor of the resolution as requested, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you, sir. And item number 3 is fiscal year 22, fiscal year 23, the VFD and Rescue Squad contract approval. Mr. Duncan again.
Yes, sir. Before you is a copy of the proposed 2021 contract for all fire and emergency rescue services. This was we felt needed with the things that happened up north with the other departments taking over territory, adjustments made in service district or response district, I must say, and felt like a new contract going forward will be in the best interest of all departments. It was wrote by me, but a lot of people in this organization had a chance to look over, make suggestions. All the fire chiefs had copies of this well before today's meeting, were of approval of it. And so today I wanted to bring before you the 2021 contract, which is set for 2 years, renewable after 2 years, there's a clause in there for either party to bow out as written. But they are 2-year contracts, renewable every 2 years, and just ask for your approval.
Question for board members? Mr. Duncan?
Have we seen this contract? Okay. I haven't seen it, sorry.
I can give you my copy if you want.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I have reviewed those contract templates, and all the usual lawyer provisions are in as appropriate, and if you see fit, they appear to be appropriate to me as a matter of law.
And I would like to say on item 6, where it says department shall provide emergency medical care as outlined in the Person County First Responder Guidelines as part of the Person County EMS system plan, so that we will be following the EMS system plan. Correct?
That's correct.
That is correct. All right.
And that's what was lacking before?
No, that was in there, but as the EMS plan, I just want to make sure that was incorporated and make sure we duly noted that that's what they're going to follow.
And the EMS department and all county fire and rescue are in the process of setting up a committee right now to discuss first responder duties, what the state recommends, what we have to do to make sure we give them the best care available. And I have full faith that they'll come out with a good protocol set for each and every department.
And this does satisfy the 2%, the every other year budget requirement that we agreed to. Yeah, okay. Further questions? No?
Nope, we're good, we're covered. Thank you.
Good. Okay, do we have a motion related to the request?
So moved.
Motion for approval, as stated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 4 is appointment to boards and committees. Ms. Reeves.
I'd like to present to the board today interested citizen applications for current vacancies, received a response to an ad that was published in the local newspaper as well as on our county website. I would request the board to consider all citizen applications and appoint as deemed appropriate. If it pleases the board, I would call out each board individually for action. Okay. First one we have is the ABC Board. We have one position available, one application for Mr. John Bratcher requesting reappointment.
Motion to appoint John Bratcher.
Motion to appoint John Bratcher. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
The next is the Adult Care Community Advisory Committee. We have 3 positions available, one application. Ms. Rhonda Haynes requests reappointment.
Do you have a motion?
Motion for Rhonda Haynes.
Motion for Ms. Haynes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
All right, for the Animal Services Advisory Committee, we have one position for a citizen representing in a veterinarian capacity. We have Dr. Barbara Harris requesting appointment.
Make the motion for Dr. Harris for this appointment.
Motion to approve Ms. Harris for appointment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
All right, for the Board of Adjustment, we have 2 positions available and one position for an alternate. We have one application received for Trico Lee Jeffers requesting reappointment.
Motion to approve, Ms. Jeffers.
Motion to approve Ms. Jeffers for reappointment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
All right, next, our Board of Health.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, are any of the people here today that are on this list, anybody here for appointments that are actually here today? Just curious.
I am not sure any
Okay.
that we've called out thus far.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, the next one is the Board of Health. We have several categories of appointment. These are designated representations dictated by state statute. The first one we have an application for is a veterinarian also. Same applicant, Dr. Barbara Harris, requesting reappointment to the Board of Health representing in her capacity as a veterinarian.
Motion to reappoint.
A motion. You want
Well,
You're gonna do them all?
Do them all.
Okay, yeah, let me
Do
read
'em all.
all of them for Board of Health. Okay,
Thank
and
you.
then representing as a physician, we have Dr. Kimberly Yarborough requesting reappointment. For the nurse representation, we have Patsy Clayton, RN, requesting reappointment. We have 2 positions for the general public available. We did have 3 applications in that capacity. Mr. Van Tillett, as well as Philip Edelblut, requesting reappointment, and Mr. Gerald Jermaine Wallace requesting appointment. So what would be the desire of the board?
I move to consider all the reappointments for the positions for the Board of Health.
So all,
All reappointments.
okay. all
Requests for a reappointment. Mhm.
Okay,
have a motion to reappoint all who applied for reappointment, isn't it? Where you put it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you.
okay, thank you. And for the Environmental Issues Advisory Committee, we have vacancies representing the following townships: Wishapook, Holloway, Roxborough, and Mount Tirzah. Ms. Cheryl Allen requests reappointment to represent in the Roxborough Township.
It's the pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve Cheryl Allen.
A motion to approve Ms. Allen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
All right, for the jury commission, we actually have one position available, 2 applications. Mr. Gerald Jermaine Wallace requests appointment. Also, Mr. Francello Bumpus requests appointment.
Make a motion to accept Francello's application for appointment.
Have a motion to appoint Francello Bumpus. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
All right, for your Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, we have the Reverend Elizabeth McCoy requesting appointment to be the representative of the faith community, to which she is in the audience today, I'm aware of. One position for a representative of the business community. Charles Harvey is requesting reappointment.
Motion to appoint Reverend McCoy and Charles Harvey.
All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carried.
Okay, also, on the JCPC, we have from the Health Director's designee, Elizabeth Habig, requesting appointment, as well as a reappointment for Stephanie Jones, representing the Mental Health Authority / LME.
Motion to approve Habe and Jones for reappointment.
Motion to approve Habig and Ms. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
Thank you. The next one is the Library Advisory Board. We have 3 positions and 3 applications. Charles Harvey, Jonathan Bratcher, and the Reverend Elizabeth McCoy.
Motion to approve all 3.
Motion to approve the 3 applicants as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, the next one on our list is the Nursing Home Advisory Committee. We have 5 positions available. 1 application requesting reappointment, Ms. Rhonda Haynes.
Motion to approve Ms. Haynes.
We have a motion to approve Ms. Haynes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
For the Person Area Transportation System Board, we have 1 application received, Ms. Kim Morgan, representing Person Industries, requesting reappointment.
Motion.
Motion to
Motion.
approve.
We have a motion to approve Ms. Morgan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
Thank you. The next on our list is the Person Capital Lake Authority. We have 1 position available, 2 applications. Ms. Carla Hawkins Stovall requests appointment. Ms. Rebecca Morrow requests reappointment.
Motion to motion to approve Rebecca Morrow for reappointment.
A motion to approve Ms. Morrow for reappointment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
All right, the next one on our list is Piedmont Community College Board of Trustees. We have 1 position available with 6 applications. I think before we get to the application presentation, there is an update from our county attorney related to one of the applications not being eligible.
Mr. Chairman, I am aware of a legal issue that I do need to bring to your attention with respect to one of the applicants who does not appear to be eligible under the applicable statute about your appointments to local boards of community colleges. That would be Mr. Whitfield. Statute says that no person who has been employed full-time by the community college within the previous 5 years is eligible. And based on the facts that I have determined, Mr. Whitfield is not eligible for your appointment under that statutory provision.
All right, if it pleases the board, I will present the remaining applications. Mr. Thomas Savage Jr. requesting appointment, Mr. Charles Harvey requesting appointment, Mr. Adam Wolf requesting appointment, Mr. Carl Bratcher requesting appointment, and the Reverend Elizabeth McCoy requesting appointment.
Make a motion to appoint, make a motion to vote on Adam Wolf as an appointment.
Mr. Wolf has been nominated for appointment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Planning board.
Thank you. And for the planning board, we have 2 positions and 2 applications, both for reappointment, Mr. Michael Brandon and Ms. Sandra Majors.
Motion to approve Michael Brandon for reappointment.
Have a motion to approve Mr. Brandon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
Is there no motion to include Ms. Majors?
Yeah. Yes.
I make a motion to approve Sandra Majors, please.
Just
We
making
do,
sure.
do have 2, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Good. We'll vote on that again then. Mr. Brandon and Ms. Majors, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you. And the Recreation Advisory Board, 2 positions available, 1 application received for reappointment, Mr. Kurt Redmond.
I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Mr. Redmond, please.
Motion to reappoint Mr. Redmond. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, the next on our list is the Research Triangle Regional Partnership Board of Directors. This is a fiscal year appointment requested. Currently, the members are Sherry Wilburn, Person County Economic Development Director, Gordon Powell as the chairman of the Person County Board of Commissioners. He also serves on the RTRP Executive Board, as well as Philip Allen, who is the current chairman of the Economic Development Commission.
Make a motion to
Are
accept
they-
all 3.
I have a question. Are these the only people that were eligible for this position? Were there no private sector business people asked or submitted applications for this board?
Actually, this board is not an application submittal board. This is a fiscal year appointment that this commissioner board can represent 3 individuals to represent on their board. And these are the 3 that have been serving in the last.
So there, nobody else knew about the position. I mean, I went online and looked at the section for this private economic development group, which comprises 13 other districts. So what I wanted to know, when I looked on there, I saw private sector people on this board representing their counties. We have no private sector. We have retired people, but we have nobody from the community bank. We have nobody from GSK or Eaton or anything of that nature that might have been applicable to be on this. And so I'm just questioning, I couldn't find, who chooses? Who selects?
This board of commissioners selects.
But who submits, the names? There wasn't
Board of
open to,
Commissioners.
okay,
Board
but
of
it wasn't open to the public is what I'm saying, so. I just wanted clarity on who selected it. We've got board members upon board members upon board members sitting on the same boards doing the same thing, and I'm just wondering where is the participation from the private sector?
Back out of your conversations there, Vice Chair. Through here.
All right, so since the chairman is involved with the nomination on this board, I will assume act of running this meeting for this only particular subject. So we have a question in hand from Commissioner Gentry regarding the appointment. What is the, Madam Clerk, what is the total number of people on the board of directors for RTRP?
It's a regional board.
But we get to appoint 3. And traditionally in the past, have we advertised this in the past?
No, this has been a decision of this board of commissioners.
So in the past, it's never been advertised traditionally.
Right, okay.
On it.
But all the other boards are. This one isn't. That's my concern, is that this one is not, and I don't know why this one is not.
It's up to this board of commissioners to make that determination. It's not the way it's been handled in the past.
I think it's important to have our key stakeholders in leadership positions in economic development to be a part of this board of directors as we have in the past.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree, but I also think that it needs to be more than 2 retired guys and a bureaucrat.
How often are these appointments discussed? Once a year, correct? So having that we're bringing it up now. This is something that we can look at for next year. We have appointments already selected for, well, that are named for this year, and I'll be happy to entertain any future conversations going into next year if we want it, but
It would be good to entertain it before going into the actual process. Thank you. It would. Thank you.
all right. But having the business at hand here are the 3 individuals at hand to be selected for it.
And I've already made the motion.
All right, Chairman Sims has made the motion for Sherry Werburn, Chairman Powell, Philip Allen. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Having hearing none, the motion passes.
All right, and the last board we have before the board of commissioners today is the Voluntary Agriculture District. And again, these are represented citizens representing each of the townships. Today we have 3 applications for reappointment: Mr. Johnny Rogers, Mr. Kyle Berryhill, and Mr. Paul Bailey.
Motion to appoint all 3.
Have a motion to appoint all three gentlemen, Rogers, Berryhill, and Bailey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carried. We're all done. Okay, item number 5 is designate NACO voting delegate for the 2021 annual conference. Ms. Reeves.
Voting credentials for the upcoming NACO 2021 annual business meeting and election will be held virtually as well as in person in Maryland this year. We only had 1 commissioner who responded to with interest to serve, and that was Commissioner Gentry, to serve as the Person County's delegate, and she is attending the conference virtually, and so I would ask you to designate Commissioner Gentry as Person County's delegate to participate in the annual business meeting and election.
Motion to appoint Commissioner Gentry.
Motion to appoint Commissioner Gentry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None,
That's all I have.
motion carried. Okay, item number 6, fiscal year 2021-2022 budget ordinance. Ms. York.
Good morning, Commissioners. Your fiscal year 21-22 budget is before you this morning with a budget ordinance that has been prepared according to the directions of the board. You've satisfied the legal requirements for having a budget process, including a budget public hearing has been conducted. So before you today is the ordinance, which requires a vote of approval by the board, setting the general fund at $66.46 million. Are there any questions that I can answer of the board? So this is your final step in having a budget for next fiscal year.
Do you need a motion to approve the budget for 21-22 fiscal year?
Have a motion. Any further discussion, comments, board members? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carried.
Thank you.
And item number 7 would be the one added about JCPC, which is really for clarity. Originally, that was a $2,700 figure that was actually part of the budget, but not separated in the budget. Is that the way it goes, Ms. Kathy? I want to make sure state that right.
So there is a hard copy update of the funding plan at your places this morning. What was omitted from the version that you previously received last week was $2,700 of in-kind support for the YES program, which is operated by Cooperative Extension. It was part of their original proposal. It was just not included on this funding plan that you had received. That is the figure that is estimated for phone, electricity, and office space for that program, which is housed here in the county office building. So it's not an addition to the budget per se. It's already accounted for elsewhere as an in-kind contribution to this program.
But this just clearly states what
that that
is
is
requested.
county support that is being provided.
All right. Any questions further, Ms. Candy? What's the pleasure of the board on the request?
Motion to approve?
Have a motion to approve the request. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carried. At this point, we have our reports. Chairman's report. At this point, I have none. Vice Chairman per year.
Manager's report.
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Chairman.
I got you. That's
Thank
right.
you, Vice Chairman.
Yeah, thank you.
I did want to let you know that today we are having the I-beams and the shell of the airport hangar delivered. There's a crane out at the airport, so wanted to let you know the purpose of that and that progress is being made on the construction of the corporate hangar out there. So you may see that as you're driving by. Also wanted to let you know that I'm having conversations with VIA Mental Health Services, which is who has now consolidated with Cardinal Mental Health Services. And unless we are interested in entering a long and complicated disengagement process to shop other LME MCOs, then all we would need to do if we wanted to go with VIA is to just begin the process of transitioning with them. So they are trying to set up some meetings with us in July, and I will keep you posted as that progress moves forward. One thing we've talked about in the past was having a mental health services coordinator on site to be the point of contact for law enforcement, social services, and public health, and VIA has agreed that they would do that. They have adopted that as a standard practice in all of their other counties. So I think we're looking forward to some enhanced services and are having some good conversations about what that might look like for Person County. So I'll keep you posted on that process. But I wanted to update you, since you had heard at your last meeting from another LME soliciting our interests, that we were going to try to transition with VIA at this point unless that didn't go well. So just an update on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perrier.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Palmer.
No report. Chairman Powell.
Commissioner Gentry.
The only thing that I'd like to mention is that the Department of DSS is still, with COVID especially, there's an extreme need for foster care in the department. We have probably double the number of children in need for foster care and or adoption. So if anyone out there is interested in being a foster parent or knows someone that can, please contact DSS. It's really important. These kids need help. Thank you.
Mr. Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got a question to ask the county manager. We all know about what was in the paper and the emails that were posted. I'd like to just ask, has all the county commissioners submitted their emails?
For that particular public records request, we've not been able to close it. We're still waiting on one.
Okay. So, Mr. Ellis, what is, if we do not get those emails, what is the protocol going forward, being that they've been requested?
Mr. Chairman, North Carolina has a very broad set of public records statutes enacted by the General Assembly. There have been several cases decided by the North Carolina appellate courts, particularly one enacted by the North Carolina Supreme Court that says there are not many exceptions to the general rule that if any citizen sends a public records request, most things that are requested are public records, including email messages and text messages, so long as they are, quote, in connection with the transaction of public business. That means that purely personal email messages about where we're going to dinner and that sort of thing are not public records and are not subject to disclosure. It does not matter whether those email messages or text messages are to and from a personal email address or a personal cell phone or a county government email address or on a county government issued cell phone. What matters is whether they are messages in connection with the transaction of public business. So some of you all as commissioners do public business on and from your personal email accounts and your personal cell phone for text messages. And that's fine. The law allows that, but the law is crystal clear that when you do that, you each assume personal responsibility for responding to public records requests with respect to the records that you have in your possession and your control. You know, you are, quote, in the words of the statute, each, and that because you've made yourself, one, a custodian of public records that must be provided, copies must be provided upon request. So that request, in this instance, I think has been made, I know, has been made from the county manager to each of you, and each of you have a statutory obligation to respond and fulfill the request. There are remedies provided for in the statutes if any custodian of public records fails to do that.
I guess that's what my question was, is what would happen if you do not turn in your emails and turn that over? That's what's my question.
One of the sanctions, the statute says that it is a criminal misdemeanor to fail to do that. There are other remedies.
Thank you. I just, again, would like to just say that I'm very disappointed in what I read in the paper. Certainly, there is no representation of me, and I certainly hope that in the future that we learn from this. But I appreciate the people from PCC coming out and showing your support for Dr. Senegal. And Dr. Senegal, I think you're doing a great job. So thank you, and I appreciate it. That's it.
We're all clear? All right, at this time then, we're ready to go into closed session number 1. Need a motion to enter into closed session per General Statute 143-318, 111A4, for the purpose of discussion of matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that may be offered by the public body in negotiations with the following individuals permitted to attend: County Manager Heidi York, Clerk to the Board Brenda Reeves, Economic Development Director Sherry Wilborn, and County Attorney Ellis Hankins. Do we have a
Motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
all in favor? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? None.
Do you want to take a couple minute break?
Couple of minutes, yeah, to get in closed. All right.